In a world of fake news, we bring you up-to-the-minute factual inaccuracy and a heavy dose of moral truth. With your hosts, Kyle Mann and Ethan Nicole. This is the Babylon Bee. Fake news you can trust.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Babylon Bee Weekly Podcast. I'm Kyle Mann, Editor-in-Chief of the Babylon Bee, and I'm joined by my life partner,
hetero life mate, Ethan Nicole, Creative Director of the Babylon Bee. I like saying my title.
I guess. And we're also joined today by Kristin Oren.
Yeah.
Longtime fan, subscriber, and copy editor.
Yeah, she helped edit the Babylon Bee book a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Like in great detail. Did you help with something else? Did you help me with my book?
I did not.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
But I will help you with your next.
You helped a lot. You helped with, I know the articles on her page and stuff. You're very helpful.
Thank you. I try.
She's literally a Nazi, but a grammar Nazi. Grammar Nazi.
The good kind.
A grammar Nazi,
yeah, just to be clear.
Yeah, a professional grammar Nazi.
Yeah.
So she's here. She's in town. So we said, come on the podcast. She's a long-time devoted Babylon Bee listener, subscriber.
Yep.
And so we're like, hey,
she's going to join us
this week.
Co-host as we go through all our usual weekly stuff. So let's do it. So we got today, we're going to do weird news.
Have we got a show for you?
We got weird news. We got Disney Plus doing content warnings on a bunch of their shows. We're going to go through and tell you all about that.
Crazy. We
got Russian slap fights. So here at the Babylon Bee, we like to find connections to the gospel. Mm-hmm. We like to find Christ figures in things.
Word pictures, biblical inspiration.
Yeah, because a lot of things draw on the gospel story. And what better place to find the gospel than in Russian slap fights? We also have an interview with biblical archaeologist Amanda Hope Haley.
Oh, yeah, and as always, organic, free range, non-GMO, hate mail.
Yeah. But of course, you're missing out on the full show if you don't subscribe. So subscribe to the Babylon.
Because you get bonus hate mail.
And subscriber headlines.
I assume we can let Kristin interview us or something in the hate mail. Or not the hate mail, but the subscriber portion. We'll do something crazy,
Yeah.
And we'll ask Kristin the 10 questions, too.
Yeah, we'll ask her the 10 questions. It'll be wild.
You already know what they are.
Oh, yeah.
You have a leg up on all the other guests who have no idea. So, All right, let's do some weird news.
This news is weird.
Baby monitor catches boy's funny exchange with Alexa when he was unable to sleep. Her son woke up and said, "Alexa, I need daddy."
And she goes, "What should I add?"
And he says, "Daddy."
And then she says, "I've added daddy to your shopping list. Is there anything else?"
And then he goes, "No."
I'm curious what was put in the shopping list.
That's all I need. Yeah. So something was added.
Amazon provides fathers now.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how the shopping list works.
You have Alexa? We have Alexa here? Get to try it?
I don't know. I assume it will just put
Alexa! I don't think anybody has one.
I don't have one in here. If you just shout, is that
and I have Alexa on my...
Is that how you find out? I have the app.
Alexa, Siri.
I've got Alexa
Siri.
too.
If you say,
I got
Siri.
the app.
You can download the Alexa app, dude.
Yeah, I have because I use it on my...
Yeah, let's try it.
Alexa, I need daddy. Oh, what?
What did it do?
It brought this up. The male parents are... What? I need daddy? What? Alexa, add daddy to shopping cart.
I need daddy.
Everyone's phones are going nuts. I know. Phones are going crazy now.
What the heck?
It's not working for me. Dude, maybe it's just in the UK.
It's looked up some...
Yeah, that's like a...
The male parents are Tristan Thompson, Douglas Mouse, and Sir... It's just it's like I'm Googling something.
You might have to turn on the shopping function.
Yeah, maybe if you get the shopping
the shopping function. I'm scared of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Whatever.
All right. Well, what's our next story?
Panasonic's Nikobo is a pricey robot cat that farts whenever it feels like it.
Oh, my goodness.
Is that all it does?
Well, Nikobo doesn't really do much other than wag its tail and turn around and blink its little eyes and talk a bit. But it also farts when the mood strikes. It also looks more like a stuffed sock than a cat. But it's very cute regardless.
Oh, it's like Japanese.
Yeah, it looks very Japanese.
That makes sense.
It just looks like a ball with ears.
It's all coming together now.
But it's got cameras inside of it and a microphone and stuff that's supposed to be so it can recognize you, but I assume that's so it can report you to the communist authorities.
Sure. Yeah, see, in America, we consider this weird news. In Japan, this is just news.
News.
This is just normal.
It's only $300 for a farting cat robot.
It's totally worth it.
Yeah. That reports you. It's like, uh-oh. They're having a Bible study in their house.
Yeah.
Meow.
That's it.
Do you want to do one? Our guest?
You got the headline number three there. Yeah.
Okay. Man builds amazing bird village during pandemic.
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, this
I
isn't
think
that
this is
weird,
neat.
but it's more kind of just cool. Like, you just look at the picture. It's like this. I wonder how many birds use it. And do they use the jail? Or do they lock up?
There's a jail there.
There's some jailbirds in there.
Oh, it's kind of like an old West town look.
Yeah, they got like a...
That's cute.
Is there a hanging place? Hangman's noose anywhere?
Where's the saloon? I don't even see a saloon in here. Maybe that's what that... Oh, yeah, that is a saloon. There's a jail and then a saloon. Yeah.
It's up there in the West Wing.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a little patio for a cigar smoking bird down there. It's beautiful. It would feel really cool to make that. And then he's going to die a lot someday, and his kids are going to be like, that's Grandpa's bird city.
I think if you've got this in your backyard, there's a slightly higher chance that you're like an axe murderer.
Axe murder?
Yeah.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
Like, you might just be a little quirky.
Or more, like a BTK.
I'm guessing this person is over 60.
Right, because he can use his hands to do things.
Yeah.
And he's white.
Because I can relate. I think it's cool.
No, I love it. I've made like a small amount of things out of wood since I became of age and could afford my own tools. Of age, yeah.
Like there's a year when you can start.
It was really like once I owned a house, suddenly I had a garage. And then, I mean, we've talked about this before, but like I built my own medicine cabinet and stuff, and I have such pride every day I pull my toothbrush out of there.
Just to be clear, I'm not saying this guy's an axe murderer. I'm saying that there's probably a 1% higher chance.
Crossover on the Venn diagram.
Yeah, the Venn diagram probably meets.
Because he could also build bombs and stuff. He's that good at building stuff.
Yeah, and it's just weird. So Philadelphia Airport employs robot for contact-free food delivery. Jita, a robot with a 40-pound capacity cargo van that delivers food to passengers waiting for their flights.
So you have to make a few trips to get me my food.
Because it's only a 40-pound capacity. I guess
that's it. It just rolls around and gives people food. This is the future.
This is the new normal.
This is robots.
Yeah. I'm not sure I would want that food. Would I? Yeah. Would I?
You don't want a robot? Yeah, because it's robot contact. It's not no contact.
What if it was a cat robot that farted and delivered you food?
Yeah, it should farts at random and reports you to the authorities.
It's just not going to fly.
California woman's new ID has photo of her wearing a mask.
She waited for the DMV employee to let her know when it was time to take off her mask. They never said anything.
Yeah, they never said anything. Took the picture. And then they go, oh, oops, sorry. So then she took it off and took the picture. But when she finally got the ID, it was the mask picture. A similar thing happened to me. I was at the DMV in Oregon, and the lady spoke very broken English. And she kept getting my name spelled horribly wrong. Like she was at EATHEAAGHEIIN, like crazy. Like, no, it's just Ethan, ETHAN. And like she misspelled Nicole, my last name. And like, I thought I had it. I thought we were good. And then when I got the license, it was just like insane. Completely wrong. And so I survived with it for like 3 years, and I got in constant issues where it was useless.
This is like people who have the mask in the profile picture.
Yeah. Yeah. That annoys me.
It does annoy me. I mean, at first, maybe it was a little cute. Like in the first few weeks, people were like, oh, we're in this new
mask. Yeah, people wear it now because it's...
Then they still have it.
Totally like, virtue signal now.
Come on.
Especially when they look real pompous.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, Kristin, it's your turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a good one.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hot mom claims Sacramento Catholic school expelled her children because of her online photos.
Oh, okay.
So she has an OnlyFans where she uses a hot mom persona.
And she said she started it as marriage fun.
Marriage fun.
That sounds like marriage fun.
You need some marriage fun. Just start an online OnlyFans page.
Honey, I'm looking to spice things up.
She's
And now they're making $150,000 a month.
Wow, crazy. Well,
Whoa, hold on there.
Yeah,
yeah.
that is
Quick
marriage
to criticize, but
fun. Yeah, getting $150,000 a month is marriage fun.
That's true.
definitely.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. What? I don't even want to know what those pictures are that are bringing in 100.
Her persona is
Flower bed.
so she must be like a naughty teacher or something.
we should bleep that so people can't look it up.
Oh yeah, sorry, Mrs.
So
So I don't know, Patrick. Patrick's our Catholic. Do Patricks have some kind of issue with online nude photos of people
is that against
at a Catholic school?
Catholic teaching?
I mean,
He just laughs.
I don't think the
That's all it is.
Baptist school would go for it either.
But I like that she's like
frankly.
doing interviews and being offended by it, and then we're going to find a different Catholic school. It's like, why do you have to be at a Catholic school if you're doing this?
I read this story and I earlier, and I somehow I missed that it was a Catholic school.
Oh.
And I was like, oh well, that makes sense. Like maybe your private school doesn't want your, and then I'm like, oh, it's a Catholic. I'm like, what is this even a story for? Like, isn't this obviously something that you shouldn't be doing? If your kids are in Catholic school. I don't know. Well, maybe they need to go to an Episcopalian school.
There you go. They take them.
They're cool with that kind of stuff. Non-Christian school.
What do they teach there?
Puppy born in Oklahoma, believed to be the first to survive with 6 legs.
Whoa. What do you call
Wow.
that? Is it like a dogapede? What do you call that?
Flipped out. Yeah.
A sexta pup?
The canine centipede. I don't know.
Or like I don't know. I don't know science
Wow,
words.
6 legs, 2 tails.
2 tails.
2 pelvic regions, 2 urinary tracts, and 2 reproductive systems.
Well, 2 urinary tracts.
What
Does that lead to that has 2? Is it just
Probably.
not listing them?
Maybe they just. Never mind.
So how many legs does it lift when it goes wee wee? It's like leg number 3 and 4. I don't know how you.
Usually,
We'll find out.
When you hear people were born like an extra arm, it sounds really cool. Like, wow.
Yeah,
But
it's
then
just like this-
you see it and it's just,
It looks like a dangling
It's
prop
just an
arm.
extra.
Yeah.
This does
This
actually
looks
look like
legit.
6 real legs. So I don't
Yeah.
Are
It
there
might be a
people
little-
born with extra arms?
Yeah.
Yeah, like extra arm or extra. I knew a girl that had an extra finger in
There was this
elementary
girl in
school.
India that like was born with like I think like extra legs and arms or something. And they thought that she was like the reincarnation of one of their Hindu gods. Or is that wrong? India. So had like all these arms and legs, and so like she could have had surgery to like deal with it. But they're like, no, you're the god Shiva Linga or whatever. I don't know.
Wow.
And I'm horrible at other religions. Or is this evolution proof? The dogs are evolving ahead of us.
It's proof of evolution, for sure.
Bow wow wow. That's what I say.
Do I have to read this one too?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Idaho woman dresses husband in 35 T-shirts for Guinness record. Okay, so here's the thing.
That's pathetic.
Here's the thing.
It says David Rush, who has broken more than 150 Guinness records. If one guy
Yeah.
that's probably not like super athletic,
Is he
or
going to
like,
win the record for the most world records? Who
can
has
beat 100,
that record?
then it's just pointless. Said he and his wife Jennifer previously attempted the same record in summer 2020, but despite managing to put on 32 shirts, their attempt was disqualified due to a requirement that each shirt be pulled to the waist all around the body. Those
See, it's
sticklers
very
for
specific.
rules.
This isn't just some willy-nilly thing.
But it is willy-nilly because they just made up that rule. They just said, "Oh, you got to pull it all the way to the waist." Like who's standing around
That's
saying
putting
this?
a shirt on. You can't
I
just.
feel like I could just go home and do this.
Yeah. Well, okay, so it's 30. Was there a time limit? See, that's probably what it is.
I didn't look through the whole thing.
Yeah,
I just wanted to get you
Oh,
going.
there probably is a time limit.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I think so because I've put on a shirt 35 times at least in my life.
I think we were talking about if I could break a world record.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
This would be an easy one.
Oh yeah, 35 shirts in 60 seconds. That's
Okay.
the qualifier.
So that's like 2.
So they had them all like laid out on the ground.
Yeah,
like
ready to
all
go, right?
ready to go, and then they start
Why couldn't you line them up so that they're like hanging around and you just run through them?
and just dive
Through them.
a big hoop tunnel of shirts.
They're all ready. It's the way that you put it on your kid. It's all scrunched up and ready with the 3 holes ready to go and just
Could work.
could work. All right,
All right, well, let's look at some problematic Disney Plus shows.
let's do it. So Disney Plus slaps this warning on a lot of stuff now. It's mostly our older stuff because apparently Disney used to have this employee that made a lot of stuff that they have a lot of issues with. So they've since parted ways with this guy. His name was Walt Disney. But so they just slap a warning on everything that he worked on. Yeah. Because it really doesn't align with their view of things, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
So, but anyway, so they recently slapped the warning on the Muppet Show. Because the Muppet Show has a lot of problematic things, like Kermit the Frog talks like Jordan Peterson.
Yeah. And he reminds you of Pepe the Frog?
He reminds you of Pepe. And, Miss Piggy is a pig, which is gross. You know, women aren't pigs.
She's the best. Yeah. I like Miss Piggy.
And she's voiced by a man, which is...
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's horrible.
I didn't know that.
You think, I wonder when Frank Oz is going to step down from voicing Miss Piggy.
I did see that, but they don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, they don't have a problem with that.
Like men voicing women.
Yet.
It's only like these, because they don't see women as like a protected class anymore.
They don't?
Well, that's the whole like Equality Rights Act, is taking away women as a protected class. They don't see women as an oppressed class anymore.
That actually feels like progress. We can actually get to this point where like, all right, nobody's protected class now. Let's just get over it.
Yeah, but they're just replacing it with new protected classes that are trampling on the rights of the previous. Okay, this is supposed to be funny, so here we go. Let's
very complicated. All right, we'll just do a quick rundown of some of the Disney Plus shows that are also going to be receiving these content warnings.
So WandaVision is problematic, and it's got a content warning that it promotes 1950s patriarchal family structure, and it can often be incredibly black and white.
It can be, like full episodes.
Just, no room for gray areas, just black and white.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a show called The Right Stuff, which they just warned the title contains the word "the right," which is triggering for some viewers.
Big Hero 6? I've never heard of it.
It's got like its giant...
It's a big robot guy. And
fat white robot.
Yeah.
Promotes white male obesity.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Cars, they use fossil fuels.
Exorbitant usage of fossil fuels.
And Larry the Cable Guy.
An exorbitant usage of Larry the Cable Guy. It was very problematic. We've talked to him. I'm still recovering. Handy Manny perpetuates negative stereotypes that Mexicans are good at work, that white people suck at.
Sad. You didn't even make Patrick laugh on that one. It's tragic.
Isn't it weird, though? It's like the handyman, and he's this little Mexican guy. Is that a weird stereotype? Is that okay? No?
I don't know.
It seems politically incorrect to me in a weird way.
Because there was Bob the Builder for a while.
Yeah, because it's like this blue-collar job.
And then Handy Manny.
So people who work can't be Mexican now.
Well, yeah, they need to be, because you don't want to depict the world, your dream world, right? So he should be like a revolutionary leader or something.
Congressman.
Yeah, the president. And the word man in his name. Anyway, we can move on.
Okay. So should it be Handy Womany?
Yeah, Handy Womany.
What's our next one?
Who's on, me?
I think
I just did that because it was really long.
Oh, is it me? Winnie the Pooh. Partial male nudity throughout and lack of racial diversity. There's a lot of diversity, but it's just all animal.
Yeah, but when I worked on VeggieTales, I was told that there were way too many white people in that show.
That is hilarious.
Way too many
I remember you talking about that.
So then this show get the same note. Like, where's all the ethnic diversity in Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah.
True.
Imagineering.
Yeah.
It depicts founder Walt Disney as a heteronormative cis white male with problematic views.
I heard they're working on a new documentary that will show Walt Disney as he was meant to be.
Yeah.
As a strong trans woman.
Yeah, because it just shows him like talking about
Pacific Islander descent.
Oh my goodness.
It's a problematic narrative because it shows him working hard and then achieving something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
It's gross.
He's probably had attention to detail, and he was a perfectionist. Those are really white supremacist things. Yeah.
There's the Dog Whisperer that has graphic depictions and glorifications of dog slavery.
Sad.
The Little Mermaid uses offensive term mermaid instead of mer-strong, independent person. I can't read this.
You don't know the new word for woman is person who bleeds?
I know, but I can't actually say it.
It's so horrifying that you have to say person who bleeds and produces chest milk.
it's crazy world. Crazy.
One who produces babies like factory. Lady and the Tramp, slut shaming.
Wasn't the guy the tramp in that?
I guess because it's Lady and the Tramp. Yeah.
He's not the lady.
Because tramp used to just mean like vagabond.
Guy that vagabond. Yeah. Like Charlie Chaplin, he's a tramp. He's the tramp. Well, wait, this is the tramp. He was the original tramp. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse promotes alt-right free speech app. Clubhouse.
Yeah, that's a dangerous app because people can talk on there.
Yeah, and it can't be. What did was it Rolling Stone or somebody?
New York Times.
Oh yeah, they said
it's unfettered conversations.
Unfettered conversations. Like that's something people should be like, what?
People are talking
Unfettered?
unfetteredly.
Do they stop when they're talking? Like, wait a minute, we're talking pretty unfettered right now. Let's go get fettered.
Well, there was all these journalists.
Fetter up.
All these journalists, like from New York Times, kept joining all the rooms to like report on things people were saying. And everybody keeps banning them and blocking them. So then they're writing all these articles like journalists are being blocked, and everyone's like, great. They're just mad that they're not allowed in the club.
That is excellent.
Very sad.
That's cool.
All right.
Okay, The Lion King reinforces patriarchal norms.
That's an obvious one. I can't believe
It
that
also
warning
says-
hasn't been up for a long time.
It also encourages people not to worry. Just sick.
And
They
be-
should
and to be
outraged.
happy,
Yeah,
too.
be happy. Don't worry
Yeah.
for the rest of your days.
It's got monkeys in
That
it.
isn't. How are you ever going to create a revolt with that attitude?
Sad. Jake and the Neverland Pirates promotes the barbaric concept of piracy. You know, lots of toxic masculinity.
Very toxic.
They're always stealing gold doubloons.
The doubloons. That's doubloons.
Which again promotes the alt-right Dogecoin. Somehow.
Oh, that's okay. Sleeping Beauty. This probably already has a warning. It depicts kissing without consent. Disgusting.
I was talking about this, I think, with my wife the other day. She's like, is it weird that they just kiss these ladies that are lying in the forest or whatever? Doesn't it happen in Snow White, too? It's in Snow White and it's Sleeping Beauty, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very similar.
She bites the apple and they just walk by and they're like, there's
Yeah.
a woman. I'm going to kiss her.
I'll kiss her.
I know we're making fun of that, but it is funny to me.
I never thought about that before.
There was a.
It's kinda weird.
Because I remember there was a celebrity, I can't remember who it was, that said, I will not show my children these horrible movies. And she's talking about Snow White, Sleeping Beauty. I think she included Little Mermaid because the Little Mermaid goes through all this stuff because she's in love with this man. She loses her voice and stuff. In the original book, it's even worse. Like her feet. She can walk, but her feet
feels like glass.
feels like she's stepping on knives, it says, anytime she walks. Because she wants this man's love.
The Little Mermaid, and then she turns into sea foam at the end.
Yeah.
She just like
It's a
disappears.
very
into
dark
sea-
ending.
Yeah, she like dies and turns into sea foam.
Becomes like some kind of ghost. Yeah.
I have actually never seen that movie. I'm gonna have to go watch it now.
The Little Mermaid?
Yeah, I missed
wow.
it. I think my daughter was older when it came out, and
It's probably one of
Never
the first
saw it.
movies I saw in the theater.
Yeah, that was a big, because I was
3 or 4.
I was the target audience.
oh wait a minute,
Little
what?
girls.
When did it come out?
Like 89 or ish.
Oh yeah, you're
89,
so
90,
young.
something
No,
like
my kids weren't born yet, so it was that time period.
Am I up?
that. I don't know.
Oh, I think it's
I
me.
think it's Kristin.
Aladdin, A Whole New World is mansplaining.
Isn't it?
I was
I can show you
Defend
a
those.
world.
Oh, he's saying, I can show you.
Yeah, he's like, tell me, princess, now when did you last let your heart decide? The whole thing is Aladdin explaining to her, I can open your eyes. That's what he says
And
to
she's
her.
like, she makes this decision. I'm going to open my eyes. And he's
Because
like,
of a man.
No, she says she's going to close her eyes. And he goes, Don't you dare
close your eyes.
Close your eyes.
Yeah, that's
So much problems.
that's abusive.
There's a toxic relationship there. Captain America. Obviously.
Yeah. Remember the Titans? That sends a harmful message that races shouldn't be segregated.
That's very harmful.
Very harmful.
Very not woke. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And finally,
Up. The glorification of old white men
obviously,
harmfully depicts a couple mourning the loss of an unborn fetus.
I also want to make sure that we had mentioned Soul, the brand new one.
does also do that.
Well, what it does is it horrifically depicts the idea that before you're even born, before you're even conceived, that you have this soul and this whole personality and talents and traits, and that you're actually a person.
But like,
That's kinda sick.
like in like a pre-heaven type.
Yeah,
That's
it's
like a Mormon
pre-heaven.
thing.
Yeah,
That's
it's
not
like
really a
pre-heaven.
Christian idea, though.
Well, God made you.
Yeah, but He made you like when you were conceived.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
That the soul
Well,
has
I'm not saying it's a Christian movie.
the soul has value.
They're saying they're going one step
But you're saying
further.
the soul has value apart from the...
Because they depict, like, basically, like, you see these little souls jump into this tube or whatever, and, like, they're going in to become alive. So it's the idea that, like, they're saying that this whole character that has all this meaning and personality, like, they do all this pre-stuff in soul. It's all about pre-life. The whole movie is.
Oh, I see.
And then they go into life, and then it's like, how many of those things, and then they're like, oh, abortion. Yay.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
Maybe that'll be in the sequel.
Yeah.
The abortion. So it's a dark, gritty recap. They ever tell the story about how I was weeping and up in the first,
Who
few
doesn't?
minutes?
Yeah.
Well, my wife,
Every
we
time.
took my wife,
Oh,
I think we had,
your wife, yeah.
I don't remember when Up came out, but I think we had 2 kids at
My
the
wife
time.
probably didn't weep either, actually.
We went to the theater. We're sitting there. We were like, yeah, get popcorn. I sit down, and 5 minutes in, and I'm just like, my wife looks over and she starts laughing at me. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, they can't have babies, Destiny. They can't have babies.
She died also.
Yeah, but she can't. It hit me hard.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go on to our Babylon Bee YouTube devotional.
Yeah. So we find it important to draw, meaning and spiritual growth in word Bible pictures
From everything.
from everything.
Literally everything.
No content filter.
Yeah. If it's content,
Well.
we can drive a gospel connection.
We
from it.
can wedge a gospel
Challenge
connection in
accepted.
there. Yeah, bring it on. So this week,
We're going to watch some Russian slap fights and
Yeah.
see what the connection to the gospel is.
we're going to exegete some slap fighting.
Let's do it.
All right.
Oh.
Okay. That was already, we're into it. So that guy, he got clearly tatted up. Oh, look at this guy. Okay, that's Satan on the left. So this guy on the right. What do you think happens to Satan in a slap fight when he's against Russian Jesus? I don't think all the cool tats helped him out. That guy jiggles a lot. Is there anything about jiggling in the Bible?
Yeah.
He's shaking.
With Ehud and the,
I'd be
and
shaking.
the fat. And
He's
the,
much bigger. Stand firm. The Bible says to stand firm.
so let's pause right there and let's
Quick pause.
let's draw some application here. So
Okay.
what are we seeing? What did you guys get out of that from a spiritual?
Well, one thing that happens in the Old Testament is God is constantly talking about striking Egypt with plagues. So that's just like slapping it really hard.
Yeah. So the guy
With
slapping
locusts.
represents like God's wrath,
Yeah,
and then Pharaoh is standing there with a hard heart
a hard heart
as he gets
slapped,
his jaw dislocated by
sent
God's
into
wrath.
the next galaxy by a massive Russian. But God.
Is this 1 Kings 20:37?
The prophet found another man and said, "Strike me, please." So the man struck him and wounded him. I don't even know the context of that. I'm amazed how many times the word "strike" is in the Bible. I was looking this morning, and it's a lot. So yeah, but I mean, there's definitely parallels to turning your other cheek,
Yeah.
because that's what they do the whole fight.
Oh, I see. Let's watch some more and see if we can get more of a Christian application here.
Oh, we got sound. You gotta hear the
Тебе
slap.
правила ясны? Нельзя звать на помощь маму. Нельзя никого.
They're speaking in a foreign language like the Tower of Babel.
Right.
You can see that.
Well, that guy's arms. I think he had some kind of surgery done. That can't be real.
Is he like Leviathan?
Will they help him? Oh no! He's like reverse Popeye. It looks like his arms are pregnant.
That's grotesque.
Okay, so let's see if the fat guy. Oh. Yeah.
So I'm really seeing
It's a David and Goliath kind of situation.
I'm seeing a Christ figure here.
Okay.
The large man that's standing there, it's like as a sheep before its shears was silent. And he just stands and he takes the accusations and he's bearing the sin of the slap.
And then resurrects and slaps back.
And then resurrects and steps on the heel. Bites the heel of.
I do think it says strikes the heel. The snake
steps
strike.
on. He steps on the snake's head. He
The
crushes
snake
the
strikes.
snake's head.
Crushes it.
It's a very
Wow.
It's a very
That is profound.
very powerful gospel connection.
And I think the look he gives this guy before he slaps him is kind of like the look that Jesus probably was giving Judas at the supper when he knew Judas was going to
He's like,
back slap him.
what's the look? Can you
Slap
give
in
me
the
the
face. Well, watch the guy in the blue shirt. Watch the face.
Well, he's got a cross on his chest, too. It's pretty obvious.
See, look at the way he stares. He's like, I know you're going to betray me, Judas.
He says,
He's like, go ahead and do it. It's not even going to hurt.
what you must do quickly. And then,
And he's like, all right, you got your 30 pieces.
and Judas probably had a faux hawk, too.
Yeah,
being honest.
most likely.
Judas definitely wore a scoop neck like that. In hindsight, it was obvious he was
I
the...
hope that Jesus wins in this scenario because that's not exactly lined up with the illustration. The noise. All right, we probably shouldn't play clips too long, right?
Well, all analogies will fall apart at some
Right.
point. This is just kind of, they're drawing on gospel themes
Right,
and putting them in here.
exactly.
So,
What do you think, Kristin?
did you draw anything out of that?
Are you edified?
The final judgment or something. This is maybe
The final
what hell's going to be like.
That's good.
You just stand
People
across the
slapping
table.
each other.
That would be interesting for hell. Like you just have to stand there while Russian guys slap you for eternity.
Yeah, and you slap
Just-
back, but you can't. You're the guy with the bleach blonde hair and the black eye contacts.
Yeah. And a faux hawk.
Yeah,
You definitely have a faux hawk in hell.
everyone does.
All right. Well, we hope you all can draw some encouragement out of this.
Yeah, well, there'll be more of that in our book. We're releasing Slap Fight Devotional.
Finding the gospel in slap fights, in Russian slap fights. Look for it coming from Zondervan soon.
All right, I think that hit everybody pretty hard,
Like a Russian slap.
like a giant meaty hand.
All right. Well, now we're going to talk to Amanda Hope Haley, who's
Yeah.
an archaeologist that digs in Israel.
Yeah, we
do
might
it.
need to say that because we already
let's
introduced
do
it.
it.
So we'll see.
Hi, Amanda. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
You just got back from a temple in the jungle somewhere.
Something like that. Yeah. No, I'm like everybody else. I've been locked down for the last year or so.
Can you do archaeology via Zoom, or is that difficult?
No, it's not really a thing.
It's not like a drone.
Like
with little
drones. I
arms.
mean, you could, yeah.
Well, I mean, they are using drones for pictures and things like that. But yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Because the worst part about archaeology is all the squatting that you have to do and like in the dirt and the sweat and the heat and all of that. If there's a way to avoid it, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I hate squats.
Yeah, I'm
So
really
that would
good
be-
at squatting. I
would
could
be-
be an archaeologist for like 10 seconds.
Yeah. then
Yeah, I have to build up to it. I usually can't move for like days on end after we start.
yeah, lots of bugs. Is there a lot of bugs? I mean, you've dug where have you dug at?
I've only dug in Israel.
Just in Israel. Any mosquitoes or anything like that? I mean, how
size of
brutal is
cats.
it out there?
No. Well, it's very dry climate out there.
yeah.
So I don't remember mosquitoes being the issue.
mosquitoes.
Scorpions are a
Oh,
thing.
okay. Wow.
Yeah, and I remember yellow jackets this last time around,
Okay.
but
Camel
bugs
spiders?
aren't that big a deal.
The giant
Pardon?
camel spiders.
Yeah.
Did Snopes
No.
debunk that?
Face
I can't
hugger
remember.
ones.
I can't remember. if Snopes
There are
debunked
some
that or
big spiders, but
Really?
no, not mythic spiders. No.
Okay.
not. No murder hornets or anything like that.
No.
So,
Not that I remember. Or I mean maybe I scared them away with my vicious troweling. I don't know.
All right. Well, we got that out of the way.
Yeah. So so describe what a dig is like for us. I mean, in 2021, assuming not a Zoom dig, assuming when you can
Yeah.
get back to the dig site. Describe what it's like. I mean, is it just guys with shovels, or what's it like in the modern age doing archaeology?
It's a lot more scientific, I think,
Okay.
than a lot of people expect. I remember the first time that I went out there, I was like 23 years old, and it was a group of graduate students, and we were kind of in two groups. There were those of us who really loved playing in the dirt, which, I mean, that's basically it. And there were the others who had this one friend who his shirt just stayed pressed the entire time we were there. He never seemed to get any dust on him whatsoever, which kind of amazed me. And so I think he expected more of the movie experience where you go and everyone's in there like crisp, white linen, that kind of thing. And no, it's, you're in shorts and tank tops and hats. And when you first get to a dig, if it's an established dig, then grids have been laid out, and basically there are these giant holes in the ground that have been put into smaller squares that are charted off of GPS, and you're assigned to a specific place, and you have a person who's in charge of you, telling you what to do. And so it kind of depends on the day and what they're trying to do. If you're looking for something, if nothing is immediately on the surface, then you may spend a day with a pickaxe, just chopping down, trying not to break anything that you might hit. And then once you've gotten to a layer in the soil where there's a lot of material culture, then you switch to smaller tools like the trowel. You do a lot of sweeping dirt off of dirt, which... It sounds and it feels just as insane as it sounds, honestly, but it's actually really necessary and effective so that you can see the different colors of grays and browns and stuff that all kind of meld together. But yeah, it's sweeping and all that. And then once you find something really intricate that you need to take out carefully, like say human remains or a really well-preserved artifact, then you switch to like the microscopic tools, the brushes and the little like air puffer things that I don't know what those things are like. You use it on babies in their noses, those things, that kind of thing. So those days are nice because I personally enjoy the detail work. I like getting down there and doing that. But there's the days of hard labor where you're just putting dirt into these baskets that are made out of recycled tires. They're called goofas, and you fill them up and have to cart them off. And by the time they're full, they weigh about 50 pounds each. So I mean, it's just constant. Honestly, it's heavy labor.
Dirt relocating.
Indeed. Yes. And it all goes into this huge pile by the end. And then at the very end of the dig, all of that dirt then you could take all that dirt that you tried so hard to get out of there and fill sandbags with it. And then you put it back down, basically cover up everything that you found during the season so that it'll be protected from the rains and stuff before the next year. So it's kind of anticlimactic that way too, because you're like, I just spent 6 weeks getting all this dirt out of here and now I'm putting it back. But it's for good cause.
So you're digging and all this crazy brushing and moving dirt, and hopefully any dirt that's not used is donated to the homeless or something. And then what is the exciting thing you find? You're like, it was worth it. All the dirt moving. I found it.
A lot of stuff that I can't talk about.
Jealous.
Yeah, you wish, right? So I think everybody goes out there with just the movie idea that I'm going to find the Ark of the Covenant. That's what everybody always asks me about, is the Ark of the Covenant. If you found the Ark of the Covenant, where do you think it is? Do you think it still exists? Et cetera, et cetera.
Have you found the Ark of the Covenant?
I know I have not. No,
she
I have
can't
not.
talk about some of this stuff, so maybe
she can't.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Blink twice if you found the Ark of the Covenant. That was a one wing. I don't know what that.
She found the Ark.
Yeah, it was in Pennsylvania. Didn't you hear?
Hasn't the Ark been found like 9 times?
It has. It always makes big news when it's found, and then once people come to their senses and realize it hasn't, like that just kind of fades away. But the one in Pennsylvania a few years ago really, really got me.
They found. Okay. They said they found one in Pennsylvania.
They did. Yeah. It's probably the same guys who are predicting the end of the world. I feel like that's got to be somehow related.
I don't remember in the Bible where the Ark landed like near Pittsburgh or somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So. Right. Yeah. And these are, I would say that it's, it got there because of, I don't know, plates shifting or tectonic drift or something like that. But I feel like the same people who found it probably also only think the Earth is 6,000 years old. So I can't really put all of that together.
Yeah, which it is. And so you find stuff that's like mundane, everyday life stuff.
Yeah.
Like pottery or something.
Like paperclip.
Tons of pottery.
Ancient
Ancient paperclip. There actually is a lot of ancient metal out there. You have to get a tetanus shot before you go on a dig. It is required.
I have an ancient metal band. I'm sorry.
Sorry, it took me a second. Okay, very nice, very nice. But yeah, the pottery, the first day you get there, I mean, it's literally everywhere. I mean, you're even walking out to the site. I was at Tel Shimron this last time, and just walking out to the site, you just look down, and on the paths we take every day, it's just this ancient pottery shards, just absolutely everywhere. It's out of context, so it's not really useful, but the first day you get there, you're down in the hole and you find your first piece of pottery, and it's super awesome. You're so proud of yourself, and wow, this thing is, depending on where you're digging, 3, 4, 5,000 years old. It's amazing. And you put it in the bucket and you're so proud. And then after you've done that about 200 times that first day, you realize that every single piece of pottery that you find, you then have to wash and catalog, and you have to do all this processing of it afterwards. And so by the end, you're like, oh man, it's another piece of stinking pottery. You're just like chucking it toward the bucket at the end of the day. I mean, unless it's like something nice and fancy, but most of the time it's not. It's just, just bits of blank pottery that
so when
probably aren't going to get reassembled.
When archaeologists dig up our culture, they're just going to find a bunch of like Starbucks cups, and that'll be the equivalent.
Possibly.
Maybe.
There was this awesome book that was released like in the late 70s, early 80s called Motel of Mysteries. I don't know. I was exposed to it when I was in the 5th grade, and I fell in love with it. And I recently found another copy of it. But the whole premise is that there's some sort of disaster, and the United States is buried under tons and tons of junk mail, which of course it doesn't really hold up today. Although I feel like I'm getting more junk mail these days. It's like people are reverting back. Yeah. But so the whole thing is like these archaeologists going into like 1980s America and uncovering from all of the junk mail and finding a motel. And the way they interpret all these really normal things, like this is it's a toilet seat. And they're like, this was an ancient headdress that, people used in burial practices and all this kind of stuff. And it's a funny spin on archaeology. It makes you sit back and think like, are we putting too much thought and energy and effort into assigning meaning to all of these objects? And that may be true for some things.
Yeah, that's the thing Chesterton talks about a lot. He kind of mocks a lot of the way that they interpret like cave paintings and stuff.
Yeah.
They read into it so much because they apply their ideas to prehistoric man. Is the key term is prehistoric. There is no history. We don't know about. Well, that's different in Israel. There's some history there, but anyway, I think that's fascinating, that idea that we apply our culture and our ideas to that stuff.
We absolutely do. And it's a shame because I think that's what archaeology is actually trying to work against. At least the way I see it is archaeology exists to contextualize or to help us to better understand those time periods, so that, especially in biblical archaeology, we take what we have learned about that time period and apply that to the Bible instead of seeing the Bible or seeing those cultures through our own lenses. And sometimes that doesn't always happen. It depends on how good the archaeologist is at getting past their own lenses. And yeah.
So what are some of the coolest things that, like, as an archaeologist, it doesn't have to be stuff you've found, but maybe you think the average person doesn't even know about that have been found that are really interesting, especially from a biblical perspective or not?
There's a lot that's interesting to me, but I kind of geek out on this stuff.
Yeah.
I will say super recently, at least it was just in the news, like in the last week, that down in the southern part of Israel, in the Negev region, they actually found fabric from about 1000 BC. So it would have been the time period when King David, King Solomon, when they were ruling. And it was fabric that had retained its natural purple dyes from back in the day. And so archaeologists have known forever that purple dyes come from this one snail. But this is the first time, as I understand it, that the fabric has actually been found and can actually be dated to that time period. So, that's really neat to be able to literally see what something looked like 3,000 years ago. When the Bible was happening. I think that's pretty awesome. And then anything to me, we laugh about finding the Ark of the Covenant because no one really knows where it is. It was spirited off, or it was destroyed by the Romans, or there's so many theories out there as to what happened to it. But the temple itself, of course, was destroyed in 70. And while there's a lot of activity going on around the Temple Mount, the temple itself is not going to be found because it was destroyed. But there are so many other temples in the region from other cultures that have the same footprint that is described in the Bible. And you can look at artifacts from other places that are geographically close and maybe, were in existence at the same time as the temple, and actually get an image of what Solomon's temple looked like. We can actually visualize it, because when you're reading about all the cubits and all those strange words that don't always get translated all that clearly, to be able to go to a place like until recently there was a temple in Ain Dara in Syria, and you could look at it and you could imagine what Solomon's temple looked like, because it was organized in the same way. So those are the things that really get me excited, when you find culture that makes you then go back to the Bible and go back to scripture, and you just have an aha moment, like, I've been thinking of this all wrong. That's not, we've been picturing this wrong. I just think that's really cool. And none of that's necessarily, faith changing or anything, but those are those little moments where it's like, okay, I understand the Bible a little better. I understand God a little better. Like, I don't know. It just makes me feel closer to him.
Sure. And what ways has archaeology either challenged or enhanced or just changed your understanding of things that you read in the Bible?
A lot of what I just said, just being able to visualize it. I think but I'll expound. I think I'm a visual learner, and I'm probably not alone in that. Even as a kid, I remember looking at the Bible, and like, I'd always go to the back where there were the color maps and things like that. And the text doesn't give us that. And I've also been involved in a Bible translation project in the past. And so I understand how difficult, even when you know the original languages, how difficult it can be to understand what the Bible is trying to convey, because the ancient culture is so removed from what we experience as westernized modern Christians, or postmodern Christians, as the case may be. And so that's it. It kind of bridges that gap, I guess, and helps me to just understand what the words of scripture actually say. I mean, I'm more of a Hebrew girl, and when you're in the Old Testament, there are words that are used there that are never used anywhere else. And, translators are making their very best guess as to what they could possibly mean or how they should be interpreted. And so when you find something actually physically, tangibly out there that illuminates, then yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Is there anybody out there, like, because you're the Christian looking for biblical evidence, is there other religion guys out there, like Scientologists looking for like alien bones, or like, is there like a Mormon out there looking for like elephant tusks, or like anything like that out there? Like, they're looking for things for their scripture?
Probably so.
And you guys are fighting
no, well, no, not, at least I'm not a part of that. There probably are people like that. And even Christians, I think a lot of Christians go out into the world, into biblical archaeology, looking for that one thing, or looking for something to prove the Bible. And that's actually really bad practice. Like, I am a Christian. I believe the Bible. I lead with that, and anything, that I write about or talk about. But I try to kind of put that at the back of my mind when I'm actually digging and look at things clearly. And so you want to go out there and find what's in the dirt. And then if it happens to line up with scripture, then that's great. But there's an old adage in archaeology, I learned it early on, that, if you go out looking for something, you will find it. Whether you actually find it or not, like, you will think you will find it, and you will form a narrative under around whatever is out there to make it fit what you were looking for. And I mean, from childhood, when we're taught the scientific method and, the way that you're supposed to form a hypothesis and go through all of these steps to prove what you're looking for, the whole idea is having a negative response at the end. Even if you disprove what, your hypothesis was to begin with, that is just as, if not more, valid. And so if you go into this exploration looking for that one thing and you find it, then you may be finding something out of context. It's not, it's just not good scientific practice. And archaeology is a science.
That was a way more respectful answer to that question than I expected.
Yeah. Thanks. I don't know.
The stupidest question of the whole thing.
Dumb question. So your new book is about a 2-week trip that you took to Israel, and you got any cool stories about that?
That's part of it. So I set off to write this book, and I went and I dug for a few weeks, and then at the end of it, my husband and my parents flew out and joined me, and none of them had ever been to Israel before. And the idea was we were just going to tour around the country, and I was going to show them all these archaeological sites that I liked, and I was going to write a book that was basically about these archaeological sites and these findings and how they illuminate the Bible. And being there with my family, who had, this was their first time over there in that area, and seeing things from their different perspectives, in addition to my own, sort of changed the book fundamentally. And it's turned out to be more an exploration of, I mean, there's archaeology is huge in it. It starts there, but it's really just about the culture of Israel, as a whole. And so we'll go to different places. And like, for instance, we got to go to Hebron, which is, it's the largest city in the West Bank. And it is where, the Tomb of the Patriarchs is. So tradition would tell us that, Abraham, Sarah, Joseph, all their kids, kids and grandkids are all buried under there in the cave of Machpelah. And so we went there to visit that, but then it was part of a dual narrative tour. And so we got to have lunch with a Palestinian family and tour parts of the West Bank that Israeli citizens are not allowed to go into anymore. In fact, Jews are not allowed to go there either. And so we got to have these kinds of experiences. And what came clear was how inextricably linked life in Israel and in Palestine, how it all is so just linked together with all of the archaeology and the ancient history, the modern history, how all of it just kind of goes together. And so that's kind of the turn that the book took. And it's an exploration of just the culture as a whole. And hopefully so that we as Americans can understand not just, our Bibles and our scripture better, but understand the lives of the people who are still living over there today.
From here in America, people say they go to Israel, and I just, I don't know. We know about all the conflict and stuff, so we just think there's bombs going off all the time and rockets flying everywhere. So have you ever seen a bomb go off? I
felt, I can't say I've seen, really? But I felt, the first time I went over there, I dug in Ashkelon, which is, it's right on the coast of the Mediterranean. And it's 10 kilometers north of Gaza City. Mm-hmm. And so Gaza rather regularly, and I mean on a weekly basis, is sending rockets into Israel. It's just sort of a constant thing. And I remember the first time we were there, the first time I was there, it scared me to death the first day because there were these big shakes and booms happening. And I just kind of looked around, and all the people who were older than me and been before were like, no, it's okay. It's the Israeli government. Their military is practicing breaking the sound barrier over the Mediterranean. And so every day at the same time, you get this huge boom. And it was from the military exercises that were happening. And so you kind of got used to it. And anytime I'd hear it, I'd kind of look around, okay, is anyone else nervous? No, we're fine. Well, then the last day that I dug that year, there was a boom followed by a big shake. And I looked up and I looked to Larry Steger was the guy in charge of the dig. He was my advisor and I loved him dearly. And, he looked worried. And when he looked worried, I was like, oh, okay. And so he ended up collecting us, and we went back to where we were staying a little bit earlier, but it's a very real thing. Wow. And luckily the rockets that come out of Gaza don't do a lot of damage compared to, other weapons. But it's kind of, it's a constant thing. When we went into Hebron, we took actually an armored city bus, and I was sitting next to the window, and you could see the glass was that thick. I mean, it was so thick, and you could see where it had been scarred in the past by some sort of bullets or something, grazing the window. I mean, as people were going by, because it's sadly, it's still a present reality out there.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wild.
That is wild.
Mm-hmm. And I say it feels very, very far from home, but then 2 Saturdays ago, David and I were sitting here. It was 1:30 in the afternoon. There was actually a shooting right out in front of our house. So there's bullets in my brick right now. Wow. So it's a little bit closer to home than it used to be.
Yeah. Wow. Crazy.
Well, if you find any more stuff with the patriarchy involved, you should smash that.
Smash the patriarchs?
Yeah. You have the opportunity.
That was a dumb
We got to crush that history.
Yeah. You don't have to respond.
We need the correct history.
You don't have to respond.
Yeah, you don't have to respond to that.
You don't have to give us the time of day. All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Amanda. This is awesome.
Your book is here. It's out.
The Red-Haired Archaeologist Digs Israel. And it's out. So good.
And you're going to dig this book.
And you guys will dig it.
Hopefully.
So confident.
All right. Well, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Amanda.
I really miss Adam Ford.
All right, Babylon Bee, we always get hate mail. Plentiful supply. Every week. The truck pulls up, backs up to our office. We say,
Dumps it out.
just put it in the back.
We recycle it.
You just dump them hate mail. So today's hate mail comes from someone named Paul. And Kristin gets to read it for us.
Oh, great. Okay.
Your best Paul voice.
All right, I'll try. I have unsubscribed from your list after reading your shameless tribute to Rush Limbaugh. I used to think your site was even-handed. What was he reading? But lately, your praises of Donald Trump, your excuses for traitor Ted Cruz, and your praise of the king of hate speech, Limbaugh, I find I can no longer stomach your point of view. Paul.
Sad. Yeah, it really happened overnight because we were publishing a bunch of like liberal satire for, just years.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I said, you know what?
Pivot.
Let's praise Trump. Let's praise Limbaugh. Let's praise the traitor Ted Cruz. Like, in what universe is Ted Cruz a traitor? Like, even if you were like, he flew to Cancun or whatever, like what's
Yeah,
the
is that
traitor?
what it was?
That must be
a
it,
traitor for that?
because I don't know what
Is
else.
he a traitor? Does that make you a traitor?
You're a traitor in anything. Well, if you're a Republican, you're a traitor. Right?
guess-
If you're
I
just on
guess
the
so,
right
anyway.
at all.
Oh, maybe because he was. They say that he was like on Trump's side up until the January 6th riots or something. So he's a traitor. I think that's maybe what they're talking about.
I'm not
I don't know.
Paul.
Anyway,
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
well, sorry, Paul. We'll try to be more. We'll try to do better and be more liberal for you.
Even-handed. Let's do
We'll be
a quick,
even-handed.
more liberal joke real quick. Ted Cruz.
What an idiot!
What a traitor.
Traitor idiot! What a traitor idiot!
Ted Cruz to open new store called Trader Ted's.
Called Traitors Are Us. Oh, I get it.
Trader Joe's.
I get it. Took me a second.
Yeah. I realized midway through the joke it'd be weird if it was Trader Joe's because his name is Ted.
Yeah, traitor Teds.
Traitor.
Traitor Teds.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, we got him back.
And then in parentheses, because he's a traitor. Let's publish it. All right. Well, we're going to go on to our subscriber lounge and go hang out in the subscriber lounge, get some bonus hate mail. We're going to read mailbag stuff. We're going to read subscriber headlines. And we're going to ask Kristin the 10 questions.
Well, you know what? I saw on the podcast we had a review and they asked, what is the value of the subscriber portion? Like, how long is it? What all do you get? Because they're like on the fence. So they said they can do the $5 a month. So what do you think?
The subscriber portion is usually around 30 minutes. It depends on the episode. Sometimes it's a lot longer than that. Sometimes it's a little bit shorter. But usually it's about 30 minutes. We do a lot of interactive stuff where people send us mail and we'll respond to it and interact. Subscribers at the premium level or higher get to submit headlines to the Babylon Bee that occasionally get published. And we go through and we read the top submitted ones of the week. We also read extra hate mail.
Yeah, one thing about the subscriber portion is that we know it won't be on YouTube. It just has a less chance of it being like taken and shared, and so we are a little bit looser, especially with guests.
It's a little more chill, and I find that the interviews really pick up there because people can kind of speak a little more freely.
We should ask our subscriber what she thinks.
What do you think?
So one of the things you guys didn't even mention that's one of the best things about being a premium subscriber. Well, can you write? You can write comments if you're just a regular subscriber on the articles. But the headline form, if you're a premium subscriber, also you can write comments on other people's headlines and reply to other comments. And so you get to know people on there a little bit.
There's a community that opens up.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
It is.
And you've had some stories published, right?
I have.
Yeah, you're like one of our top headline submitters.
There are some people who've had more published than me, but I have definitely I don't know if I've
You're up there.
Submitted more headlines than anybody else, but I'm in the multi-thousands.
Wow.
I don't know, but
More
not
than me.
multi-thousands. Over 1,000. Yeah.
All right. Impressive.
Well,
So
there
do
you
it.
there you
Join
have
us.
it.
Just try it for 1 month, $5. If you don't like it, you can always
listen to the testimonial from a happy, satisfied Babylon Bee subscriber.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it better than any other subscription you have, like Netflix
Absolutely.
or anything you got?
Head and tails.
Way better, way more value.
I don't even think I have other subscriptions.
That's the only one you need, really.
Yeah.
Pay any amount.
Yeah. How much would you pay a month if we raised the price?
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Yeah. It's worth it.
$10,000 a month. You could subscribe at the Elon Musk tier.
Yeah,
which now exists.
Eccentric billionaire.
Yeah, that might be a little
That's
much.
too much. 10,000.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. And please join us in the lounge.
Yeah.
Coming up next for Babylon Bee subscribers.
One thing my parents did very well, and I think is important to do, is to encourage whatever they're interested in, even if you don't like it. Find something that they love, because then if you have something they love, that's a carrot to keeping the other behaviors in line. They know they might not be able to do it if they don't behave in other areas. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, you like food?
Oh, you like playing you like playing the cello?
Break the cello.
Wondering what they'll say next? The rest of this podcast is in our super exclusive premium subscriber lounge. Go to babylonbee.com/plans for full-length ad-free podcasts. Kyle and Ethan would like to thank Seth Dillon for paying the bills, Adam Ford for creating their job, the other writers for tirelessly pitching headlines, the subscribers, and you, the listener. Until next time, this is Dave D'Andrea, the voice of the Babylon Bee.